Oh, I didn't see those.
I heard several like this one.
They've been having an empty one sitting right at Fort Chiswell. There's been an empty car sitting there.
Yeah, there's
I'll get-
one second ramp on Fort Chisholm periodically.
Sign there's at the end since we're running a little bit behind.
Well, the one I've seen has been the median empty. Unless there's somebody in it. If there's somebody in it, he isn't paying attention.
Unless it goes ding, 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 90 miles an hour, they don't pay much attention.
Yep. Everyone ready? Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Let's stand and have our pledge and invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ronnie, lead us in prayer.
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to come together and to address the business of the county. We pray for your guidance and leadership. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, open it for citizens' time, and since I don't see any citizens that's not part of the group, then we'll move on to unfinished business.
Yes.
Shalel, do you have?
I really don't have any unfinished business for today.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the minutes. We've got a group of them. The December 7th, the 15th, 28th. Can we approve all of those at once, or? You want to take a minute or two to review those. When someone's prepared, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
On the paragraph about A and G, on the second page of that, Ms. McCraw made a motion, Mr. Sowers to instruct. Should that be Mr. Sowers?
Are we on 7?
What page is that?
I don't have a page number, but see
It's,
A and G down at the bottom and then up here at the top.
Yeah, it's right after the second page.
But I don't remember what that was. Or how that should be worded.
Maybe I second it.
There must be a second.
Maybe.
I think that's what it was.
I think I have that written down somewhere. In the pile of
That's
stuff.
gotta be what it is.
I don't have all the minutes.
Do you have the first part of A and G?
I have the first part, yeah.
Then the next page
I don't have the next.
starts out as Mr. Crowe. I think I second that.
Okay.
So that needs to be corrected as Mr.
Yes.
Sowers second motion. Okay.
Yeah, just one other correction that I see on the third page. It says Mr. West presented the invoice, and I assume that's Mrs. West.
And the only other thing, we did not adjourn before you called this meeting to order.
Right.
we recess, we
We-
recess, we recess.
Correct.
So do we need to adjourn this meeting, then adjourn that one, then come back into this one?
No.
We just recessed
Just
everything.
adjourn.
Just if you're recessed to another meeting, so today when you finish, you'll actually adjourn.
We were adjourned.
But we
Yeah.
called this meeting to order, didn't we?
No, you reconvene.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
You did.
I reconvened.
So we just come out of closed session into another.
Yeah.
When he started, he reconvened from the 28th.
Yeah.
You
My,
weren't here.
my first statement was to reconvene the meeting from the
But we don't need
28th.
to adjourn that one to be in the meeting for January 4th. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes?
I make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
You're making the motion, we approve them with those two.
With these
Correct.
corrections.
Right.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as corrected. All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Motion is carried, minutes are approved. We'll move on to payment of invoices. Ms. West?
Sorry, can't resist. I'll be Mr. today. As far as the, which way, I'm doing claims first? As far as the claims are concerned today, the only item that was not on your previous list, it was previously approved, but it wasn't on the list because it kind of came in at the very end of things, is the small business grant to Omega Supply. So just for the continuity of the records, that's listed here, but that was already approved and dispersed. After that, I have stopped doing the advance payments on the AEP at this point because we've gotten far enough ahead due to the fact that there's been some duplicate payments. Apparently, some of them have gotten paid still by the county, and we've been paying them too. So, and I realized that when I got the statements and could see what they were recording. So apparently, I'm not sure who I need to contact about. Would it be Felicia? Okay. So we'll get that straightened out. Basically, I'm just trying to get our books so they match what AEP says, and then we can, most of these are really small amounts, and, you know, they're not worth the cost of trying to send checks back and forth, but I just wanted to get our stuff to where we're actually matching the statements. So you've had a long list of them, and right now I'm skipping until, except for this one, which is actually the current bill. The next item on the list is the installment payment for the industrial park building. So, did you hear anything on that yet?
I sent an email, but he hasn't responded.
Okay. I didn't know if I had anything to report on that. The next,
Look right quick in the new mail and see.
okay. The next two items on the list are ads that were placed in the Mount Airy News and the News and Record in Greensboro for the executive director. The next item is the installment payment for the Skyline National Bank for the Cana Rescue takeover of the loan as well as the renovations. Next item is my bill from December. The two following items for the Virginia Tobacco Commission, both of those will be reimbursed by the recipients of those. We just have to feed it we have to feed it through the EDA. The EDA actually gets the loan from Virginia Tobacco Commission, and then we turn around and bill the recipients. So it's just coming through us. That'll be reimbursed, and those invoices have gone out to the recipients. The next item, we're not sure where this got lost, but Salel sent this to me earlier in the week. This is an insurance bill for the EDA. We normally get those, I think, in July, and we pay the entire year in advance. And so, you know, I guess just because of the circumstances, stuff has been getting lost. So, so we are paying that now. And what we do with that is we just write off a month's worth every month in the books. So the actual expense on each month is just 1/12 of it. The next three items are the USDA ACHs that are set up for the fire truck loan, the new buses, and the bond payment for Carroll County High School. Total today will be $76,880.56. Any questions?
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve the payment of the invoices? We have a motion to,
I'll second.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. Motion's carried. Invoices are paid.
And for the change in funds balances for December, we started the month with $781,360.90 in funds available. The revenue for the period was $150,492.93, of which $114,710 is the check we received. If you remember, we issued one request to the county for reimbursement on the grants, and then we took on the additional list. And this is the check to reimburse us or to fund that list. And that is reconciled now. All of the funds that went out do match the funds that have come in. So that is the remainder part of that. The Vanguard payment, anything? Okay, I mentioned to Salel in an email this week that when I was reconciling the bank statement for December, I realized that we had not received the ACH from Vanguard. And that's been set up as an automatic payment ever since we started collecting rent. So Salel said he sent an email to them and to see if it's just a matter of maybe they switched banks or, what's going on. But so the reason you don't see that revenue this month is because we don't have it. But we're looking into it. As far as the expenses, these are expenses that you approved last time for the actual period of December. And the only unusual thing there is the $10,000 that was the carryover from the previous list. That has been reimbursed, though. So that brings expenses to $10,905. Then we had the debt payments. These are all the standard payments that we do every month. These are the ACHs for our loans as well as the USDA bonds and so forth. That's a total of $43,394. The next item is the standard entry that we have to do every month to reserve a one payment on the bond. We have to, until we get a year's worth of payments reserved. And I believe when I calculated that originally, it's about 10 years. So we'll just do that for a while. That brings us to ending funds balance of $1,114,399.08, of which $239,170 is restricted for the bond payments. And you just, the reason this number is $66,000 and not $76,000 is because the new commitment is $66,000. You had already committed the 10 previously. So that's the reason why those two numbers are not the same. Which brings our operating funds to $808,348, and of that, $97,295 is still designated against incentives for Vanguard, and that leaves us with operating funds available of $711,052.82. It's not here, but I just opened the mail, and I did receive a past due notice from the PSA on that large invoice that we discussed at one of our meetings, so I am going to draft a letter to them and explain that we're going to have that approved by the Board of Supervisors as and funded before we can pay that invoice. It's $700 and some thousand
Ms. West,
dollars.
would you do one favor, since you've got that? Would you invoice the Carroll County Board of Supervisors' attention, Mr. Michael Watson, that exact amount?
Okay. You going to take care of that? Okay. I'll be happy to. Any questions?
There's no questions. Would entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Treasurer report is approved. Okay, move on to old business. You should have a copy of special warranty deed for the Cana Volunteer Fire Department.
I would request the EDA board approve that authorization to sign this document and get it recorded tomorrow.
Does everybody have one? I have 3. Or are they all different? They all have the same date on them.
I've probably stuck too many in your back.
Does anybody need one?
You're special, man.
I know. No?
Do you have one?
Do you need one?
I started out with one, but I don't see it now, so I'm sure it's still in here.
Okay, that's all right.
It was in that other packet, if you, the one that's.
I got one.
Okay.
I believe, I don't trust my memory, but I believe back first part of the last year, we approved the transfer of this property to the Cana Volunteer Fire Department. Richard, since you're involved with the fire department and also on the board, am I correct at that?
You are correct. Thank you.
Okay. And I'll entertain a motion to approve this deed.
I make a motion we approve the deed.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the special warranty deed from the Economic Development Authority to the Cana Volunteer Fire Department. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion is carried.
Thank you.
This next item is a letter to A&G, request permission for the county, the EDA attorney to go ahead and send this so that we can get all the documentation and get this project closed out and reconciled.
I guess this is for our information only.
Actually, I think what I'm looking for is permission from the board to take a motion and
To,
to allow us to move forward with this.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Yes, as presented.
have a motion and a second to authorize Mr. Durbin to send a letter to the Appalachian Natural Gas Distribution Company. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion's carried. Okay, do we have other old business?
Hopefully you have two plats in front of you. This goes back to the transfer of property to Mr. Branson. As you'll notice on the top plat, there is a 50-foot access easement reserved across that property. One of the things that's came about as we've moved forward, that I talked to Mr. Newman about it, the Planning Commission, that was reserved to grant access to your other properties behind it. We also, the EDA has road frontage and that wraps all the way around that lot. That access easement actually prevents anybody from building a building on that section. The plans are currently to construct two 60-foot-long buildings for Terman. And one of the considerations, the only people has any interest in that easement is the EDA, according to the Planning Commission. So my question to the EDA board is, would we like to vacate that easement so that a building can be construction on the property? And if so, I can get the
You said vacate the easement,
vacate.
so something could be put on it.
Yes.
What would be the identifying factor for that? The 8.8329 acres conveyed to,
It's conveyed, but it had an access easement. What I would request the EDA board is the attorney to draw up an amendment to this to be recorded that it vacates that access easement across that property.
So we don't need it.
No.
Not
Actually, you've got two access easements. You own frontage that wraps around it now, but if you'll notice, there's already an access easement on the other side of the right-of-way there. It comes down from Industrial Park Drive. That's also, it says a non-exclusive easement to be reserved, and that was for access. And it comes all the way back to your property that way too. So if y'all would so like, we'll get that document drafted for the next board meeting for your consideration.
Okay, if you're inclined, I'll entertain a motion to instruct the county attorney to prepare a document to vacate the easement on the land conveyed to Mr. Branscombe, the 8.8329 acres.
I make the motion that we instruct our attorney to vacate the easement on this piece of property.
Just draft an
To
agreement.
draft an
So then we
agreement.
would-
EDA consideration.
We would look at it at the next meeting and approve it. Yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion that we instruct our attorney to draft an agreement to vacate the easement.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll
Do I hear a
that.
second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to instruct the attorney to draft a document vacating the easement to be presented to us at the next meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion is carried. Do you have any other?
Only one other item, there is a Virginia Solar Summit that's a webinar-based event on March the 16th, 17th, and 18th of this year. I'll send you an email of how you can register for that if you're interested. We've been talking about development of solar, AEP and APCO, and Virginia. It's a high priority, and it will be for the U.S. as the new administration comes in. Everybody's predictions are that solar will be one way to reduce the carbon footprint of America, and we best know a little bit about it. So I'll send you an email about this. From your luxury of your home or Richard's telephone, you can watch this and participate.
Okay, if there's no other old business, we'll move on to new business.
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. West?
I picked up the mail, I was waiting outside, and there is a claim that I'm gonna need approval to go ahead and cut a check and have it signed before the next meeting. This is the funding for capital that we paid for this building, and the invoice is here. I did not know we had it yet, so it's $77,000, and I'm gonna need to get this in the mail prior to February 1st, or there'll be a late fee on it. So I guess I just need pre-approval to do that. I'll present it on the 20th next time, but I need to go ahead.
Okay. So we need to entertain a motion to give you the authority to move forward on that. Okay? Anyone have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion for Ms. West to move on depositing the check and cutting the appropriate before February 1st.
Make the motion that we allow Ms. West to move forward with cutting a check. For what?
Capital One.
For the Capital One invoice.
Okay. Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second to authorize Ms. West to move forward on the Capital One invoice. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion's carried. Okay, new business. You have any new business?
Yes.
Any member aware of any new business?
Not really new business, but, now's as good a time as any. In the meeting where we discussed land that was available, the newspaper picked up that meeting and ran the article that says basically that we're looking to sell the Cannon Rescue Squad building. I've gotten lots of calls and emails and knocks on my door and wanting to know why we're selling the Rescue Squad building. It's my understanding that that was never part of the conversation. It was the building that's not occupied and
Two
the lot.
lots.
So I just want to make sure that it's okay to tell the public, we never had any intentions of selling that. And I understand how they got it. You were asked a question, then they took that answer that you gave as something that it wasn't. So I
I
just want.
felt like that article was misconstrued
Ooh.
in several ways because you put a lot of work into that presentation and it benefited me. I don't know about you guys, but to see what we had and then it was so negatively taken. But I totally agree with you on that.
But I just wanted to make sure that we could clarify that with people. And I have told them,
Right.
the board had no intentions of selling that building, so.
The rec department was another big
Yeah.
issue.
And then the only other thing, we were invited to a closed session meeting with the board of supervisors. Is that correct?
I think that's
Yes.
for,
On the 11th?
I think that's for the executive director and the chairman.
Oh, okay.
Not
Well,
to
it
the full
came-
board.
It came to me. I don't know if everybody else got it.
Yeah, we
or
did.
not.
It came from Crystal.
It
Okay.
did go to everyone.
But it said to discuss land. Can we know what that is?
We will have some discussion in closed session.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other new business or anything that needs to be brought forward? If not, we will move toward closed session. Under Virginia Code 2.23711A1, interview of prospective candidates for employment,
Can we
and also
Oh, is she?
discussion of prospective industry previously unannounced? And vice, I think it's A5.
A5, discussion of prospective business or industry. Okay. Everyone understand? A1, interview of prospective candidates for employment and discussion of prospective business or industry. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I make a motion we enter into closed session.
A second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to enter into closed session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. We'll go into closed session. Let's deal with a
Let me give him a second.
come out of closed session. Let's certify it. Whereas the Carroll County EDA Board convened a closed session January 4th, 2021, pursuant to affirmed recorded vote on a motion to close the meeting in accordance with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, whereas Section 2.2.3711, the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Board, EDA Board, that such a closed session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Carroll County EDA hereby certifies to the best of each member's knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed session to which this certification applies, and only such business matters as were identified in the motion by which this closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting to which this certification applies. And if each one of you would certify. Mr. Sowers?
I certify.
Mr. Collins?
I certify.
I certify.
Mr. Hall? Mr. Carroll? And I certify. Okay. Any other questions, conversation? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Adjourning or
Nope.
recess?
Recess.
Till the 19th.
We're recessing.
That's right, okay. So I
I
will,
rescind my motion.
do you withdraw your motion?
Yeah.
We'll recess till the 19th,
4:30.
4:30. Thanks, y'all. Thank you for keeping me in line. Everyone have a good evening.
This is Dr.
Already messed this thing up.
It is.
It is.
Would make sense.